What's up, everybody, and welcome back to In Search of Flavor, a channel here on YouTube dedicated to helping you make better food in your kitchen. And have some fun along the way while we do it. Today we are looking at one of my favorite desserts of all time, the carrot cake. Carrot cake has been one of my favorites since I was a kid. Love that cinnamon flavor with that icing on top. It's good stuff. If you've never had a carrot cake or never made a carrot cake, join us today as we venture off into the land of carrot cake and come back triumphantly with a carrot cake. One of the interesting things about carrot cake is that if you Google it online, you'll see that one of the questions people ask all the time is, does carrot cake have any carrots in it? And it actually does have a lot of carrots in it. The carrot cake that we're making today has a pound of carrots. So make sure you weigh your carrots if you're going to join along in this bake-a-thon that we're having here today. Weigh your carrots so you get the right amount of carrots in your cake. Carrot cake falls into that interesting classification of baked goods known as a quick bread. And if you checked out our banana bread episode, you know that a quick bread is leavened with chemical leaveners. Those leaveners being baking powder and baking soda. One of the things that we didn't mention in that banana bread episode was that quick breads and the chemical leaveners don't actually create new air bubbles in the dough. They just expand existing bubbles that are already in the dough that you create when you mix the dough. Baking trivia for you to amaze your friends at your next get-together. That one's for free. Anyway, to get started on our trip to carrot cake land, first thing we need to do is set our friendly neighborhood hot box to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 260 Celsius if that's how you roll. Okay, so to get started with our carrot cake, we need a 9 by 13 dish that we're going to bake it in. Mine is Pyrex. You'll notice that sometimes when you go to the restaurants, you get layered carrot cakes, 2 layers, 3 layers. I don't do layers because I'm not good at them. I'm working on that, and that's another show. So for now, we're going to do 1 layer, a 13 by 9 sheet that we are going to ice and cut up into lovely little portions. So to prepare our pan, we are going to spray it with cooking spray, and then we are going to line it with parchment. With our pan lined and ready to go, we can now get started putting together our dry ingredients for our carrot cake. So the first thing we want to do is get 2½ cups of all-purpose flour into your friendly neighborhood mixing bowl. In addition to that, we want 1¼ teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1¼ teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Once you have your dry ingredients in your mixing bowl, whip out your whisk, and we are going to get to whisking. Watch my whisking smoke. Once it is well mixed, it is time to move on to the carrots. As I said, you're going to need, you're going to need 1 pound of carrots. You're going to need them to be trimmed, peeled, cleaned, and then we're going to use our Cuisinart to chop them. One of the things I like to do when peeling carrots, because I don't like to clean up the mess that they make on my countertop, is take a sheet of paper towels, lay it down on my cutting board. I take my friendly neighborhood peeler. I go up and down my carrot while keeping it on top of my paper towel. This way, when things are all said and done, I whisk away the paper towel and there's no muss, no fuss, no cleanup. What'd you do today, Dad? Oh, I peeled some carrots. So now, as you can see, rather than having a big mess of carrots all over my cutting board, I have them on this paper towel and I just sound effects for free. I am now going to take my shredding disc for my Cuisinart food processor, fancy, and I'm going to arm my said food processor with said shredding disc. Once I have shredding disc in place, we'll grab the lid, put that guy on there, and then into the feeding tube goes our carrots. Yeehaw! Once we have them shredded, they always miss a little piece on top. I pop this disc off, and I grab my blade. And I stick that guy in. Because I like my carrots to be more than shredded. So I shred them, and then once I have the shredded bits, I take my food processor again with the regular blade, and I pulse it a few times. As you can see, I think we're good to go. Looks good to me. We will move our shredded carrots from bowl to bowl. Watch your fingers on that blade. Ah, I've cut my finger. I'm kidding. Now I'm going to rinse out my bowl and my blade. Just a moment. So to our bowl, we're going to add 1.5 cups of granulated sugar and 1/2 cup of light brown sugar. I'm going to pulse these guys just to combine them. Once we have them combined, we are going to take 3 large eggs and we are going to add them to our sugar mixture. Let's turn that guy on, let him run for about 20 seconds until it's nice and smooth. So now comes the emulsion part of our program. An emulsion? Alex, what's an emulsion? Viewer, I am so glad you asked. Let's go to the In Search of Flavor lab and find out all about emulsions. Hey Doc, we're over here in the kitchen creating a luscious carrot cake, and we have a question regarding emulsions. What is an emulsion and why should we care? An emulsion! Well, most people know that in its natural state, oil and water do not mix. The water sinks to the bottom and the oil floats to the top. If you shake this guy vigorously, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either the oil droplets will suspend in water, giving you an oil in water emulsion, or the water droplets will suspend in the oil, giving you a water in oil emulsion. It's important to know the different kind because it affects the way that it feels in your mouth. Affect the way it feels in my mouth? What do you mean? Well, if you consider mayonnaise, it is an oil and water emulsion. Mayonnaise is about 80% fat and 20% vinegar. But because the oil droplets are dispersed into the vinegar, the mouthfeel isn't described as greasy. However, butter, on the other hand, is a water in oil emulsion, and that would be described as greasy in your mouth. Oh, interesting. But why doesn't the mayonnaise separate back into its distinct parts, like the water and the oil? That's where the magic of emulsifiers comes into play. You see, mayonnaise has eggs in it. The eggs contain a yolk. The yolk contains lipoproteins that wrap the oil droplets in the vinegar. When it wraps those oil droplets, it prevents them from getting back together into a big mass of oil. Thus, you have a stable emulsion. Very cool. Thanks for the info, Doc. So if we think about what we have in our mixing bowl here, we have the egg yolks, which are serving to wrap the oil droplets, and then those oil droplets are being dispersed into the egg white. And the egg white is 88% water. So we have a fat in water emulsion. The magic of kitchen science. Now I can share all that wisdom and knowledge with my culinary friends, and they'll think that I'm some sort of a super chef. Not really. But anyway, so we're going to take our 3/4 cup of vegetable oil. We're going to turn our machine on, and we are going to put this in slowly through the feed tube. After about 20 seconds of mixing, you'll find that your mixture looks luscious. We are going to add our wet ingredients to our dry, and then we are going to mix in our carrots. Fancy. Now we take our chopped up carrots and bring them to the tasty party that we have going on here in the bowl. And we take our monster spoon and mix. And you want to mix this together until you see no more raw flour streaks. Flour streaks are bad. Bang, done. Looks pretty good, right? Okay, let's get our 9x13 pan that we've already sprayed with non-stick cooking spray and put some parchment on it, and it's ready to go, and our oven is preheated at 350 degrees, so we're ready to bake. So into my prepared pan goes my mixture. Some people say to me, Alex, your carrot cake batter seems so thick. And I say, well, thank you for noticing, Mr. YouTube viewer. And the reason it is so thick is because I cut down on the amount of oil. There's a lot of recipes out there on the internet that call for a ton of oil in carrot cake. And I just don't think it needs that much. In fact, I think it's actually better with a little less oil. So mine's a little thicker because there's less oil, but less fat too. So less time on the treadmill. And there we go. Spatula, sink, carrot cake, 350-degree oven for about 40 minutes. Go ahead and spin your pan once halfway through, so at the 20-minute mark. Give it a spin so it cooks nice and evenly. And in 40 minutes, we're going to check this bugger. We are looking for a finished internal temperature of about 209, 210 degrees. Get yourself a thermopen so you can check it if you don't know, because you could stick stuff in there and be stabbing it all day long with knives and toothpicks. Best way to know is temperature. 209, 210, and you know you're done. To the oven. Okay, so with our carrot cake happily baking away in the oven, that's one happy carrot cake, we are going to turn our attention to the icing. Yum. So the icing is made up of a couple of simple ingredients. We have cottage cheese. Do not put cottage cheese in your icing. Not good. We have cream cheese. We have butter. We have vanilla. And we have confectionery sugar. And we need our food processor again to bring together the goodness. Let's take a look. So through the magic of video editing and some washing dishes, we have our bowl all ready to go. Into our mixing bowl, we are going to put our blade first for something to actually do the mixing. Then we are going to take 8 ounces of cream cheese. You want your cream cheese to be soft, not room temperature, but soft. So take it out maybe an hour before you start this whole process. And to that, we are going to add 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And we are going to take this for a quick spin just to bring it together. Because it's very viscous, you're probably going to have to scrape down your bowl a couple times until you get it going. To that, once it's mixed a little bit, we are going to add 1 1/4 cup of confectionery sugar and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And hit it. That looks pretty good. Wouldn't you say so? Looks darn tasty. Let's go ahead and just give it a quick taste. Now it's time to ice our carrot cake. Okay, so with our carrot cake having come out of the oven about 90 minutes or so ago, I've given it plenty of time to cool, and you can see it here on my wire rack, nice and cooled. Don't worry about this cut off portion over here. Somebody had to taste it to make sure that it was safe to eat. So I took one for the team. So we get on to icing. I am just going to grab my friendly neighborhood spatula and load on the icing. Looks pretty good, right? And looky there. I would say that's good enough to eat. I'm going to get myself a cup of coffee and I'll meet you in the dining room so we can try this out. Okay, welcome to the dining room. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Delicious. A carrot cake that even a carrot would love. There you have it, folks. Carrot cake in your kitchen. Delicious. You can make it at home. Watch the recipes on the internet that have too much oil. You don't need too much oil. Go with a little less oil, a little less fat, a little less time you're going to need running around the track or whatever it is you do to get aerobic. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, why not go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. If you really liked it, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to have more videos coming every week, and I wouldn't want you to miss anything coming here on In Search of Flavor. So thanks again for watching. I'm going to finish my carrot cake, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.